for problem 6-33. Part 1 and 2 are going to be completed the exact same way. You're just focusing on different departments of the business. So for this one, we're going to work on the mixing department. So the units to account for. So our units beginning work in progress is going to be the physical units information from our textbook. So let me go over it this way. So here are the numbers we're going to need. So for this one, the beginning units, or the units listed in physical units, is 5. Our units to be accounted for, we're going to take our transferred out and our ending inventory, add those two amounts together, which is going to give us 131. And then to get this amount, we're just going to subtract. And then the units to be completed, or units to be accounted for, is something that's not technically required for the homework, but it helps make things to be a little bit more understandable. So units completed, or the ones that are transferred out, is 125. You have 6 units in ending inventory. And if you add those two amounts together, it gives us 131. So that's just another way to verify that we have the correct amount. So our equivalent units, we're going to take the units started and completed, which is going to be this amount. So it's whatever that is, plus our units in work, or excuse me, our units ending inventory is 6. So for conversion costs, to figure out the amount that goes there, you're going to take the amount from this bottom row. So for the mixing department, it's going to be 50% of whatever is in ending inventory. And for the tableting department, it's going to be 40% of whatever they have in ending inventory. So this one is easy to figure out. 50% of 6 is 3. So then you're going to add your two amounts, and those are going to come into play later. So I don't want to give you how to complete the problem, so I'm just going to give you hints on how to complete it correctly. Beginning work in process. So this is when we're going to look in our textbook. So beginning work in progress for direct materials is going to be our direct materials cost. So in this case, it's $120. Costs incurred during this period, which would be costs, direct materials, under current production. So in this case, it would be $31.44. And then you would do the math. So you're going to add these two amounts, divided by the equivalent units. So this is where you write the equivalent units, and it's going to be from these amounts in yellow. So and this is where you're going to get the actual cost. So say, for example, let's go ahead and solve this one. But let's say we had 145 units in output. So we would put 145 here. And then to solve the problem, to find out the cost per equivalent unit, you would take our 32.64 divided by 145 would give us $22. And then you'd have to round it to 3 decimal places, so it would be $22.51. So you would put that amount here, 22.510. But you don't need to put the 0 because it's going to drop off. You do the same process for the conversion costs. And then you would add both of these amounts up to get your total. So for the conversion cost amount, this is where it gets a little tricky. So for your conversion cost amount, you're going to take your direct labor plus your overhead. If you look, your overhead has a question mark. So to find out how to calculate your overhead, you're going to have to go to the next page of the textbook. It tells you for the mixing department, your overhead rate is 200% of your direct labor cost. And then for the tableting department, the overhead rate is 150%. So to calculate your overhead rate for mixing, it is going to be, so let me highlight, and I should be able to make a note in there. So I'm just going to add a note to my book. So the overhead. So for the mixing, it's 200% of direct labor. And for the tableting, it's 150%. So we would take 200% of $128 to get your overhead amount. And then you would add the 128 plus whatever your overhead amount is. And that is what you would get for your conversion costs for direct labor. I'm sorry. That is what you would get for the amount of your conversion costs for beginning work in progress. For the incurred during period, you're going to follow the same procedure. You're going to calculate your overhead just like you did for the beginning inventory, and then you're going to add it to your direct labor cost. Same thing when it comes time to do the tableting department. Once you get that information, you can come down here. So for transferred out, you're going to take whatever this amount is times the amount that was transferred out. So if you look in your textbook, it shows 125 gallons transferred out. So you're going to take whatever this amount is. So I'm just going to put over here amount in green times transferred out. So for ending work in process, that is going to be calculated by your direct materials. So for direct materials, we have 6 left, which is right here, units and ending work in progress units. So we're going to have 6 times our amount that we got for right here. So I'm going to change that to orange. So 6 times amount in orange. And again, this number is wrong. And then, oops, I put it in the wrong cell. Here is going to be our 3 times the amount in red. And then you're just going to do the math. In your book, a good example to see how to complete this is starting on page, I just had it, starting on page 257, and it goes through all the way to 261. And so again, you're going to complete part 2 the same way. You're just instead of looking at the mixing, you're going to be looking at the tableting department. If you have any questions on how to complete this problem, please let me know, and I hope you have a great day.